Relax, the keyboard is off and the press box is closed, but the mic is just getting warmed up. Welcome to the Hockey Writers Ink, a show where the writer is fresh off the presses and the ink is not dry. Join your host, Lance Green, the guardian of the blue paint turned writer, and co-host SteelFlyers, as we bring you all the latest on the Philadelphia Flyers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next edition of the Hockey Writers Ink. With your host, with the most, Mr. Lance Green.
Hi, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to talk some Flyers hockey here.
Oh, man. I'm excited. I know. Look, okay, I get it. It's the off season, and the Flyers aren't in the playoffs, and I get it. But there's a couple of things to talk about here. So, and you know, your co-host Ron, SteelFlyers, and I'm here with the editor-in-chief of SteelFlyers.com, the host with the most, Mr. Lance Green, and we are going to just dive right into episode number 165. That's right, folks, episode 165, with the new Danny Bre-eara continues of the rebuilding of the Flyers. And look, we understand that this was an overachieving year. We understand that they were this close to making the playoffs, but unfortunately did not. That kind of gives the Flyers a little ray of sunshine, right? Dude, I looked it up. They got a 2.5% chance at the number one pick.
Yeah. I don't think Gary Bettman would ever let that happen. Yeah, it's not happening.
Does that mean they get 2 balls in the lottery if they have a 2 point or 2.5 balls or whatever that is?
I don't even know. But most likely we'll pick from somewhere around 12th, and then the Panthers pick is going to be late, obviously, depending on when they get knocked out. But they look pretty darn good. So against Tampa, so. Chances are that one's going to be a little late, but, I am working on a mock draft, or my first edition of our annual mock draft that I usually put together for the Flyers. So trying to iron out who they might select or who they should select in my mind. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, Lance, we talked to a young man whom I think that they I don't care, man. The last pick in the first round, I don't care if that's what the Panthers pick for the Flyers comes to be. I really think they should pick this kid. But oh my gosh, Lance, you know how we look forward to the annual draft article that you put out. Your mock draft, and I'll tell you what, man. Over the last couple of years, they haven't really been all that mock. They've been pretty right on.
Yeah,
some of the picks over the last couple years.
I've been able to pick at least the first pick pretty well spot on by the time the draft does come. So I'm sure there might be multiple additions once everything gets laid out, more finalized after the season is over and after the draft lottery is drawn and all that stuff. But as of right now, we got a rough basis of where the team's going to be selecting from. So trying to give the Flyers fans some hope and something to get excited about, even though the team is not in the playoffs right now. So.
And that's the other thing too, and this is what's going to be interesting to see how this team, in this new Danny Bre-eara of rebuilding, is going to be interesting to see how this team handles the offseason this year. Do you know what I mean? Because now that there's a little bit more of a different leadership group in place, things of that nature, I'm going to be interested to see how some of the other players, how they react. And if they stick around or if they go away or if they do go away and how soon they come back. You know what I mean? That's kind of the thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's, with new management coming in, there's always a initial exodus of prospects and different players that they don't particularly like. So I think that happened a little bit with Kevin Hayes and with Ivan Provorov and all like that. But now I think you'll begin to see it more on the prospect side of things where, guys that were drafted, guys that have been sitting around in the system and just kind of taking up space by this point, may see their way out and thus is needed to create space for the picks that they now have been drafted. They have one draft already under their belts with some interesting prospects to come in and, talented prospects to be coming in as their, junior careers end. And you have to have a place to play them, right? So you're going to have to get rid of some of those guys, as well as potentially some more guys on the NHL roster. There's already been rumblings about, buyouts of Cam Atkinson or other people. It's going to be interesting for sure. I think Danny Bre-eara is a guy that has shown that he is willing to make the deals. And if he doesn't necessarily know how to get it done, he's going to call the NHL and see what his means.
Yeah, what he can do.
He can legally do, and he's going to get it right. And I think teams have kind of taken a step back and realized, hey, this guy is no pretender, and he's proven already that he is a guy that can get deals done that past administrations have not been able to. So it's definitely going to be busy, I would say, and interesting for sure.
Okay, I mean, that's something that, just that those draft picks alone is where the Flyers are going to need to continue their rebuild, and getting the deals done this past offseason to get those extra first round draft picks for next year and so on is more draft capital and more of what Lance was talking about as far as Danny Bre-eara continuing to build this in the right direction and move this team in the right direction. You know what I mean? And one of the things that I think is part of moving this team in the right direction is the signing of Ivan Fedotov to an extension. I think that was paramount for Danny Bre-eara and administration once he set foot here in the States. And yeah, I know he's only played one or two full games with the team so far, but the pedigree that he comes with and everything along those lines, he signed a 2-year deal for what is it, $6.5 million.
6.5, so he's going to get an AAV of 3.25 a season, still vastly under, kind of what starting goalies in the NHL are getting right now. I think they're going to be a good 1-2 tandem or 1-1A tandem. I think that's what the team is really looking for. So, I'm for it. And I like the term as well. 2 years, not some 5-year deal that we got to put up with this guy if he doesn't produce and find a way to get rid of him. It's a 2-year. It's an opportunity to come in. Like I already told you guys, he's coming from the KHL where he won championships, right? He was voted best goalie. He's got the pedigree, like Steel said, but it's a different game over here. The ice is a lot smaller. It's a lot faster game. And he's got to deal with a language, barrier. He knows a little bit of English, but he's still not as fluent as, he probably wishes he was. But that's all something that can be worked on in the next few months, in the next few years even. So he's going to have a little bit of time with this contract to come in and show himself and what he brings to the table. And I think it's going to be all good here. It's a good contract for what it is. I think Danny Bre-eara's really, brought a fair offer for him to be willing to stay. Obviously, he's 27, so he's not some young prospect. He's been a professional for many years overseas. He's just now coming to this league to be a professional. Exactly. That's where I'm at with that. I'm interested and excited to see him play more as he gets
Yeah, more
well
acclimated.
versed in this game over here, and I think training camp and everything will do wonders for him as well. Getting to play so many, and getting so much ice time over here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's the fact that was done so quickly,
Mm-hmm.
that deal was signed so quickly, and it's about the same amount as what they paid Ersson, and it's almost the same deal as what they did for Ersson, right? Ersson was what 2 years for 6.7 or something like that, or something crazy, I think is what his deal was, right? So I mean that they finally got a really decent goalie room now, where I think now that Sam Harrison's going to have that off season to where now he's got some help. He doesn't have to be the man, and that takes some of the pressure off. Because let's face it, as a rookie goaltender, to have that much pressure put on you like that, the entire franchise, the whole city of Philadelphia, everybody's riding on every little move, save, bend, spin, twist, move of your stick that you make. I mean, that's a lot of pressure. Okay.
Well, him too. I mean, he played in 51 games this year. That's a lot asking for a rookie. But again, he was a professional. He played in the SHL for multiple years before coming over here and turning pro over here. So, he's used to being a professional, but, it's definitely a step, a huge step to do that at the NHL level. And I think he did great this year. I mean,
he
had a sub 3 goals against average and a save percentage right around 900. I don't think even him was expecting to play this much, obviously, but he was even in talks for the rookie of the year, obviously, Connor Bernard and stuff like that. And, is probably going to get that. Yeah. But, for a rookie to come in and win 23 games and play 51 with, Carter Hart unexpectedly leaving the team for his wrongdoings or expected wrongdoings, accused, but whatever. Man, it's a nice goalie room for sure, like you said, and both those guys I love watching on a nightly basis in net, and I think next season's just going to carry on with that. So
it's funny, Lance. I remember when we did a Prospect Watch show maybe a year ago, and we were talking about top goalie prospects.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that you said was that the league, the NHL, and you could see it, are going Russian, right? Some of your top goaltenders in the league right now, right, are Russian goalies, okay? Right. And the fact that we have been fawning over Fedotov now for 3 years, right? Ever since he was brought in or drafted or whatever the case was, and we've been just like, yeah, this guy, bring him in. Now he's finally here. Now we're going to finally get to see, you know what I mean? And so there is a reason why there is that pool to go to the Russian goaltenders, because they are as advertised. Okay. You know what I mean? And so when you're stopping the puck like that on a nightly basis and everything like that, then, yeah, man, that's exactly what Philadelphia has been lacking ever since the whole, Ron Hextall, Van Beesbrook era. Yeah, Brian Boucher did a real nice job when he was here, and Mason did a pretty decent job when he was here, and even Bob did a great job while he was here. But let's face it, the Flyers have not really had a goaltender to hang on the side of the building for a very, very long time. Okay, and I think that this team has finally going in the right direction as far as having the right goaltenders in the room now, finally having some talent back there stopping the puck. Do you know what I mean? So I'm excited to see how this tandem is going to move forward into the next season for sure. And I agree. I think Ivan getting some training camp time and some other things like that too are going to be very helpful for him as well too. And speaking of signings, Bryce
Brodzinski
refused to sign his entry-level contract and is going to test the free agent market And so, good luck. Good on you. Hope you get what you're looking for and find the road that you're trying to get on.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was a 2019 seventh round pick of the Flyers. Played 4 or 5 seasons for Minnesota, just chose to stay there. And, his numbers, although decent, weren't significantly increasing anyway. So,
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I think it was one of those things, like I just said, with new management coming in, maybe Bre-eara wasn't all that thrilled about this prospect either. And it could be more mutual than, anything.
Right.
Because, that guy was drafted, they had a vision for him, whatever like that. It didn't work out. So maybe he takes his talents elsewhere. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. But it is what it is. But so, how about if we go another little direction here, shall we? How about a huge congratulations to Ian Bre-eara and the Lehigh Valley Phantoms for beating the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins in the best of 3 series. They beat them the first and second game, and they are now moving on to the second round to play Hershey. So congratulations to the Phantoms for moving on.
Yeah, I think it's big for the Phantoms. I mean, we have a team that is worth going to see now. Before, we had at the AHL level a lot of career AHLers, and with new
even
management,
call-ups from the ECHL too.
Right, and that's the thing. Now we're seeing more development coming in. Right, Bre-eara has put a big proponent on needing to develop their own talent before they expected other leagues, NCAA, everybody else to develop their talent for them until they were NHL ready. Well, now I think we're going to see a lot more, talent coming up through our own system. And, a lot of higher draft picks are playing with the Phantoms. Tyson Forrester was there for a while recently, and a lot of others are down there right now and, showing some success. So, man, I like it. I like what I see. And, I hope that they can continue on with this trend because, now the roster is exciting. And with the Flyers sending down guys like Bobby Brink and everything like that, they're going to get some more playoff. Yeah, Zumala, a lot of players that were even NHL ready, they're still young and can benefit from it as well. So, I think we'll see a lot of changeover after this season, but still great nonetheless, and getting to see them play some postseason hockey if the Flyers can't. So,
I mean, exactly. If you can't see it in the big club, we'll take it in the farm team. You know what I mean? Right. And I'll tell you what, I think the Hershey being the defending Calder Cup champions from last year, I actually think that with the re-additions to the Phantoms, that they actually might have a better chance this year against the likes of Hershey's and stuff like that too. So I'm excited to see how this Phantoms team is going to go now into the second round of the AHL playoffs. So that's exciting, and we're looking forward to that as well too. So they're playing against Hershey, and I believe the first games kick off on next weekend on the 4th or 5th, I believe, of May. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to that as well too. Speaking of some really good, cool things to look forward to, the Flyers did have Joel Farabee will be representing Team USA in the upcoming Worlds, and Sam Ersson will also be representing his country of Sweden.
Yes.
In the upcoming Worlds as well. So excited to still see Flyers players out there doing that. For the Worlds, representing their team and their country.
Yeah, good opportunity for both players. Farabee is still a young guy who has been producing. I mean, he had 22 goals, a career high in goals this year, and 50 points. And I think he did so kind of quietly. Like, not too many people were talking about that, but he had career numbers this year with 22 goals and 50 points. So, he's still a young guy at 24 years old, but he's still growing into his game. So, same token, for Ersson too, man, it's gonna be good. He's gonna get hopefully some starts in net for Sweden and really see what he's got to offer against some of the best, guys not in the playoffs right now from respected countries. So
yeah, exactly.
Good opportunity to keep their tools, sharpened, and an excuse to watch more hockey for us, right? So
hey, we're all for that, right?
Right.
Like we need any more excuses to watch hockey.
Right.
By the way, I would just like to say a big, huge shout out. Look, I know he's not listening or anything like that, but I just wanted to say a big, huge shout out to a great big fan of the show, Jim Jackson, for doing the call last night on the Boston Bruins versus Toronto Maple Leafs. And that just goes to show you what a true professional sounds like calling a hockey game, okay? If y'all don't know, then you should be clued in, because Jim Jackson is the consummate professional, and that was one of the best called playoff games so far this year that I've heard so far. Okay? All day long.
Yeah, the Eddie Olchucks and everything else kind of get old for sure.
Man.
The guys are just not good at their jobs. But
I said, I just wanted to shout out to our buddy Jim for making the call against the Boston Toronto game. That was awesome. That was really good to hear him and Boosh being the team up there in the broadcast booth. That was great.
Yeah, good deal. So with that being said, still a lot is to come in Flyers hockey, but we shall see what is to come. And I think we leave it at that. It's the off season.
Oh yeah.
A lot of other Philadelphia teams are thriving right now, and it's exciting times in their realms. But as far as the Flyers go, I think we'll leave it at that.
For sure. And be sure to check out Lance's mock draft when that is released, though, for sure. We'll be diving into that one. Indeed. Also, would like to say a big, huge shout out and thank you to all of the many Facebook groups out there, which are too numerous to mention, which you can see on this great little graphic right here. But a big thank you to all of the Facebook groups for allowing us to be members and for allowing us to post the shows out there and for posting the articles out there too. So big thanks to all of the Facebook groups for allowing us to be on your pages and filling up your boxes and everything else like that. So big thank you to them as well. Also, big props and thank you to our man, Lenny Redcoals, for allowing us to have exclusive permission by the man himself to use his images in our shows and in our articles. So big thank you to Lenny Redcoals. You get the Hockey Writers Ink salute for that, sir. Thank you very much, Lenny, for all the great pictures that you take and supply as well. That's awesome, man. Thank you for that. Also, big thanks to Spreaker for allowing us to be out on all the podcasting platforms. All you have to do is go out to one of your favorite ones, type in Hockey Writers Ink, and as we come up, you give us a 5-star rating, and then that helps us to get recognized, and that helps you to get our show on your feed. So thank you very much for that. I am your co-host, Ron SteelFlyers, and we will catch you on the next episode of the Hockey Writers Ink.